conversation with them about their clients. Y'all with me? Yeah! Y'all with me? Yeah! Who's gonna chant? King is falling, you can't hide. We can see your racist side. King is falling, you can't hide. 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 King is falling, you can't hide.
Are you for yourself or are you for this country? Get it out with me! I saw that. Get it out. Take those dog tags off. You're no American military personnel. You're a traitor. Traitor! 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 Traitor!
go to limp like a noodle. No, that's a Stalin stash. That's a Stalin stash.
Jesus Christ is Lord. Jesus Christ is Lord. Jesus Christ is
Come out here representing the Democrat Party. Really? Come on. about the hellhole that DC is a little bit too much. They've thrown me in a gulag here a couple times, in case you didn't know. But my God, the last time I was here in January, they threw me in a gulag. I thought it was bad then. I come back to DC now, and I'm seeing a communist hellhole.
Right.
What the hell is going on in Washington, D.C.? Businesses are boarded up. People are walking around in face diapers. Rats are running around in the streets. Propaganda is everywhere. What the hell is going on here? You want to know? You want to know what communism looks like? Look around D.C. today. Here's the good news. Look at this.
Go home, commies!
Now notice something, guys. Notice something. See how we have our Black Lives Matter sign right over there? That's nice, isn't it? So the left gets to come out here, and they get to occupy the streets, they get to put up their propaganda, they get to burn down buildings, they get to tear down barriers, and then they get bailed out of jail by the Democrats. And we come to town, and what do? They shut the whole city down. What the hell is that, man? We are in occupied D.C.
Right.
Understand this. We are in occupied D.C. That's why businesses are boarded up. That's why they're making you wear a face mask. And that's why the mayor has now said, oh, you have to get tested for COVID before you come into my city. I don't think so. Did anyone here take a COVID test? Does anybody here give a damn what Muriel Bowser has to say?
It's a cold.
I got a lot to say here today. I'm kind of ticked off that they're destroying our country. I don't know about you. A lot of different angles. There's a lot of different angles. By the way, I didn't realize this was such a Black Lives Matter stronghold. Where did the hundreds of millions of dollars for Black Lives Matter go? Where did it go? As far as I can tell, Black Lives Matter is still out on the streets asking for more money. So where's all the money going?
Killing kids.
Where's it all going?
They haven't cleaned up one neighborhood. They haven't built one food truck.
It went
They
right
haven't
into
given
the
back
Democrat Party. That's where it went. It's a Democrat Party money laundering scheme.
That's right.
We try to tell them this make it bad. But here's what we're going to do here. Do you guys know about Stop the Steal? Did you guys come here today to stop the steal? Yeah! Do you believe that this election was stolen from we the people and President Donald Trump? Yeah!
Hey, what's up, everyone? Let me know how you're doing. Good morning. This has got to be one of the earliest lives we ran in quite a while, since July, I would say. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. As always, please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time we go live, and we go live every single day. Thank you guys for being here.
Here we go. Bring them on over here.
All right. You're a boy.
Hey, what's up, Manco?
We're not conceding. If they're cheating, 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 we're not conceding. USA!
So here's the deal, guys. We got a little.
Oh, there's a bunch of sissies in the chat. It's because we don't normally go live, so they don't know how we do things. If you're gonna act like a sissy in the chat, go ahead and speak up so I can cut you right out real quick, because we keep the chat quality. You can say whatever you want to say as long as you're respectful. You're not inciting violence. You're not being a racist POS. So go ahead and speak up so I can just take you right out of here and we can keep rolling with our day. Shout out to my hooligans.
New York Times, the state of the race in Michigan. Now, as you can see in Michigan, Donald Trump was winning.
What's up, Glock Compatible?
All day long, Trump is winning. And then magically, miraculously, at 3:30 in the morning, we've got a new term that we're coining here on the Stop the Steal Caravan. Magically, at 3:30 in the morning, Joe Biden gets some vote Viagra. And as you can see, he goes straight up. He goes from nothing to straight up. Have you ever seen anything like that? A straight vertical
What's up, S-Win?
vote
What's up, Raven?
at 3:30 in the morning in Michigan. And then, right after the vote Viagra sets in, what do? They going to pull the wool over our eyes and get away with this? I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you would call that flattening the curve, but it's, going straight vertical for Joe Biden, and then magically they stop counting. So you tell me, do you think Joe Biden won the state of Michigan? Do you think something fishy happened? Do you think Donald Trump won the state of Michigan? Right now, there is a lawsuit and an audit of the vote in Michigan, and I believe we're going to discover some major vote Viagra, and I believe that the state of Michigan will be called for Donald J. Trump. All right, let's move on now. Let's move on to Wisconsin. So there you go. There's the steal in Michigan. Pretty obvious right there, right? Yeah. That's an obvious one. Let's go to Wisconsin now. I know, right? That's crazy, isn't it?
That's the F.
Look at that. They can see that all the way from Virginia. They can see this vote Viagra from Virginia here.
That's the F.
So here you go, guys. So same thing here in Wisconsin. It's a tighter race, but Donald Trump pulls out, takes the lead, and then extends his lead. And then well into the night, he's winning. Until magically, at 6 o'clock in the morning, some extra strength vote Viagra sends Joe Biden higher than Hunter Biden in China. And now, he magically takes the lead for the first time all day in Wisconsin. And then they say, you know what? We're going to stop counting, and we're going to declare the state of Wisconsin for Joe Biden after he gets the vote Viagra. Now, do you guys think that's a little suspicious right there?
Nothing to look at.
Does anybody here believe that Joe Biden won Wisconsin? Who here thinks that Donald Trump won Wisconsin? I believe there's a recount in Wisconsin happening, and I believe when that recount is finished, as long as they don't count all the illegal...
Hey, thank you guys for being here. I'm sitting here reading the chat. I'm trying to let you guys hear what's going on, but I appreciate everyone.
All right, let's move on now to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to Pennsylvania.
Hey, you want to use a louder one, Owen? Owen, you want to use a louder
What's
one?
up? Is that one bigger?
It's louder.
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on, let's see.
Slightly bigger.
They're cranking up the music on you.
It says pimp.
Turn it on, man.
Drown them out, Owen. It's a pimpaphone.
Check. Is this louder?
Yeah!
I got a little Biden Viagra for my megaphone here.
Just make sure I get it back, Owen.
This is saving my life. My voice is about to go, my friend. Thank you very much. I don't know how Trump does all these rallies. He's like a madman.
Use your diaphragm.
All right, so here we go now. Well, we've got 2 states we're going to cover. Here's Pennsylvania. Now, sometimes Pennsylvania is at the top of this graph. Now, sometimes you head into the night and you know you're going to get lucky, right? So you take that Viagra before the date. So in Pennsylvania, Joe Biden got some extra strength vote Viagra before the polls even opened. Look at that one. That is some extra strength vote Viagra for Joe Biden right out of the gates in Pennsylvania. Of course, we know what that is. That's 2 million mail-in ballots. 2 million mail-in ballots for Joe Biden. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? How many of those mail-in ballots came from Russia, I wonder? Notice how they're not complaining about that. Somehow Russia hacks every computer, every cell phone, every website, and every voting, everything ever. Oh, but then millions of mail-in ballots and Russia can't figure out how to put pencil in between a circle. But so you have some early vote Viagra for Pennsylvania for Joe Biden, but then what happened? The polls opened, and as you can see, Donald Trump overcame the early vote Viagra and then was surging in the lead. The bottom graph here is the vote margin over time in Pennsylvania. Do you see how huge that is for Donald Trump? Can you guys see that over there? Look at how big that is. Look at how big Trump is winning in Pennsylvania all night long, all day long. Trump winning. And then what happened? Tuesday night, the Democrats closed the polls. They closed the polls, but they didn't stop voting, did they? They kept voting and they kept counting. Did you see the videos? Suitcases of votes coming into Pennsylvania. Who the hell believes that? Suitcases. Now it's come out that they have these things. Have you heard of They have storage facilities where they have containers full of fake ballots. And then they find out how far behind are we in Pennsylvania? Well, we're about 300,000 behind. Oh, okay, well, we've got about 300,001 mail-in ballots for Biden. We'll get those over to you real shortly. And then we film it. They kick us out of the poll watching places, count 200,000 votes for Biden, and then magically, ladies and gentlemen, now see, it took them a week. They had to vote for an extra week to overcome Trump's lead in Pennsylvania. But they kept voting, and they kept counting, and they kept voting, and they kept counting, until magically, miraculously, Joe Biden takes the first lead of the day in Pennsylvania, and then what do they decide? We're going to stop counting, and we're going to declare Joe Biden the winner. Do you believe that? Bullshit! Bullshit!
Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit! Bullshit!
So somehow magically, Joe Biden voters get to vote for a week after the election, and then as soon as Biden takes the lead, they stop counting and give the state to Biden. Now here's the good news. They've actually taken Pennsylvania away from Joe Biden.
That's great.
And we know that the Democrats can't do math. They think 2 + 2 = 5, so they don't understand that Joe Biden no longer has 270 electoral votes. So they still think that Biden is president-elect with all the fake news claiming he's president-elect, but actually he does not have the votes, because in Pennsylvania, they are now auditing the vote, winning lawsuits, and there's going to be hundreds of thousands of votes in Pennsylvania for Biden that are not going to be counted. And I believe, who believes that Donald J. Trump won Pennsylvania? Uh-oh. Guys, do you know what that means? That means that Donald J. Trump goes over 270 electoral votes. And that means that Donald J. Trump was re-elected the President of the United States of America. But you know what? 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years.
4 more years. 4 more years. 8 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 more years.
8 more years. 8 more years. 40 more years. Trump forever, baby. Alright, but hey, you know what? Hey, class isn't over yet. Class isn't over yet, guys. We still have to go over Georgia. No, we got it on that one. Keep that one up. Yeah. Georgia's on there, too. So, guys, take a look at Georgia, though, real quick, because this is the Stop the Steal caravan. So we've got to highlight all the steals happening. So, just like in Pennsylvania, they did us again in Georgia. They gave Joe Biden the early vote Viagra, but Donald Trump overcame that lead real quickly and easily. And then what was happening all day in Georgia? Trump was winning and winning and winning and winning and winning and winning until they closed the polls. The Democrats kept voting and counting and voting and counting and voting until magically, miraculously, a week after the election, Biden finally has more votes than Donald Trump, and so they stopped counting and they declare the state of Georgia for Biden. Does anybody think that Joe Biden won Georgia? Did you see the massive crowd that we had in Atlanta? They don't think that Biden won Georgia either. Who here thinks that Donald J. Trump won Georgia? Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you listen to InfoWars, you know that we are tomorrow's news today. And so I thank the mainstream fake news, and I thank the Washington, D.C. swamp for giving me this exclusive story for you today. Donald J. Trump was re-elected President of the United States.
USA! USA! USA!
But not only did Donald J. Trump win re-election, he won it in a record number of votes. And I believe if all the votes are counted, Donald J. Trump is going to end up somewhere just shy of 80 million votes. Almost 10 They told you there'd never be anybody better than Obama, but actually, Trump gained 10 million votes between 2016 and 2020. Obama lost 3 million votes. So you tell me, who was the better president, Trump or Obama? Trump! So, ladies and gentlemen, we come out here today with one mission. We have one mission, and that is to stop the steal. Stop the steal. Stop the steal. Stop the steal.
Hey, thank you so much, Craig, for joining the membership program. You're officially a hooligan.
Stop the steal! Stop the steal!
Ladies and gentlemen, the entire world is watching right now. The entire world is watching right now, and they want to know what the fate of America will be. We must be the leaders of the free world. America must be the leader of the free world, and to be the leader of the free world, we must have fair elections. And so the world looks to America with hope that we will maintain a fair election process, and that we will maintain to have a nationalist in our White House to stop the forces of globalism from conquering us. And if we're victorious, which I believe we will be on this Stop the Steal movement, if we are victorious, the world will then re-energize against the forces of globalism, and worldwide freedom for humanity will commence.
1776!
1776!
1776! 1776! 1776! 1776!
You're on.
It's hard to tell, Johnny. You know, since doing this, we've seen lots of scheduled protests and marches and stuff. We've even seen marches that were supposed to be million-man marches that didn't even have 1,000 people there. So, you know, it's really hard to say. Maybe there's going to be a ton of people there. Maybe 15 people and their dog's going to show up. It's really hard to say. But if people go live, we're going to be there.
Musk was reporting yesterday. Did you guys see this? So yesterday, Elon Musk decided he was going to take some COVID tests. So he took, I believe, 6 different COVID tests, same day, same test. 3 of them came back positive, 3 of them came back negative. Now, these are the tests, and these are the case numbers that they're using as justification for shutting down our lives. And they're fake numbers. We're not going to let another state destroy our country. That's what 2020 is really all about. And how we enter 2021 depends on if we let a fake pandemic, a fake election, a fake hate crime, and fake news determine our fate, or if we, the people, determine our fate, and we put the fake news behind us.
We the people!
We the people! We the people!
We the people! We the people! We the people! We the people! We the people! We the people!
Yeah, I've been trying out a new chant actually on this road trip. You guys want to try this with me? I think everybody agrees with this. I'm not sure. So if you don't agree with this, you can just hang your head. Government sucks! Government sucks! Government sucks! Government sucks!
Government sucks! Government sucks! Government sucks!
It seems to me that this is the real anti-establishment movement that we're in right here. It seems to me that we're the ones fighting the corrupt establishment that we're all sick of. That's what it seems to me. And then it's totally confirmed when you turn the TV on, and what does it show you?
Lies!
Lies, lies, lies. But here's the deal. Notice we have traveled through 8 cities to be here today from Austin, Texas. And barely any local news or mainstream news even showed up to cover our events. Can you believe that? But that's okay, because guess what? We are the media now. And so even though InfoWars banned that video, banned that video, banned that video,
Ban that video! Ban that video! Ban that video!
and we were able to change the narrative in this country, and we did it all without mainstream news, all without social media big tech. So that just means that we're still in control of this country, ladies and gentlemen. They have not defeated us yet. Now, Rex Jones is here. I think he has something he wants to say. You guys know who Alex Jones is? We are streaming live on InfoWars right now. Let's give a welcome to Alex Jones! Alex Jones! Alex Jones!
Alex Jones! Alex Jones! Alex Jones! Alex Jones!
Alright, we got Alex's young son here, Rex Jones. Rex, you have something to say here, Rex?
Everyone in the push-up contest, we want a redo.
A recount?
Push-up recount.
Listen, I have a lot to say to you, Owen. First off, you're a bigot. I like the government. I think the government's good. All you people that are complaining about your rights being taken away, you're in the wrong. I want to see things burn. I'm a proud Democrat. I'm a Democratic leader. I'm a Democratic socialist. And I will say, I'm a proud Joe Biden supporter. I want everyone.
I think his dad needs to teach him how to use a bullhorn properly.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are broadcasting live on transition downtown DC. Good to be with you, brother. Good to be with you, Owen.
Yeah. Jesus, you don't know how bad that hurts. Oh my God.
I think it is a student vitality.
I am so sick of being in this town. I am so sick of being here already, and it's only been like a night. DC truly is disgusting, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. These people try to tell you that Donald Trump didn't win. Owen just showed you. Look at those lines. You see that vertical line? That's not an election. That's a lie. That is a lie, and that is a falsehood.
So we call vote Viagra.
These people are trying to steal something that was so clearly won, it blows my mind. And if you roll over and you let it happen, you are just as guilty as they are for destroying this country. Everyone needs to be out in the streets. Everyone needs to be making their own individual content. Everyone needs to be fighting the fight. That's what it's about. These people are literal demons. They hate you. They hate your family. They hate your kids. They look at you like you look at a rat on the street. These people are literal demons. Literal demons. And
Hot belly goblins! Hot belly goblins! Hot belly goblins! Hot belly goblins!
Hot belly goblins.
Look at their ground troops. Look at their supporters. They're like these 90-year-old women who hate their lives because they didn't have kids. I mean, just see a great hell over there. No one over there is getting anything they want. Nobody.
They don't have balls on that side.
Well, the women have the balls. That's the weird thing. It's like it's a undersex. Well, Owen, when's the big man showing up?
Give it up for Rex Jones, everybody!
Rex Jones! Rex Jones! Rex Jones! Rex Jones! Rex Jones! Rex Jones! Rex Jones!
And yes, the big man Alex Jones is in Washington, D.C. And he will be marching with us tomorrow. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've given you a brief little display here, a brief presentation about one level of the voter fraud, which is just the proof, just the line drafts that a 5-year-old could look at and point out the anomaly. But that's not where it stops, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, I think we should probably give the Biden campaign some credit where credit is due. You know, the Biden campaign did a really good job going after the dead voter. This was a voting base that Donald Trump didn't go after, and Biden did. And so thousands of Confederate soldiers showed up on election day for Joe Biden. It's actually true. It's actually true. They went back and they looked at Confederate soldiers, they plugged their name into voter rolls, and they voted for Joe Biden. Isn't that amazing? That's incredible. Millions and millions of mail-in ballots. We have the videos. Millions and millions of mail-in ballots where they just send 10 ballots to a Democrat's house. They fill out all 10 and mail them back, and then they count all of them.
You think it was a sting operation?
Unbelievable. It won't be enough. What's going to bring them down is their rigged voting machines, flipping 3 million votes. 3 million votes.
Dominion's going down.
Have you heard of Dominion voting systems? Did you hear about this?
Hammer and scorecard.
Guess who institutionalized the Dominion voting systems into our republic? The Clinton Foundation. Why won't those bastards just go away? But it wasn't only that. Lock them up! Lock them up! Lock them up!
Lock them up.
lot of people going to jail. Yeah. So, drain the swamp. Drain the swamp.
Drain the swamp! Drain the swamp! Drain the swamp!
Look at us with over 2,000 in the chat. Everyone, please take a second to hit that like button. If you're new here, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon. That way you'll be notified every time we go live. I do my best to try and go live every single day. It's not usually this early, but we go live every day. Thank you guys for being here. Big shout out to everyone that's been making donations, joining the membership program, anybody that's purchased any merch. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are what keeps the channel going. You're why I can do this every day. So thank you guys for being here.
People filling out hundreds of Trump ballots, just filling out Donald Trump, did we? You found it for Biden, right? We didn't see votes be flipped from Democrat to Republican for Donald Trump. We didn't see that, did we?
I don't think so!
How long do you think this charade has been going on?
Decades!
The good news is, America is awake, and we are invading the conquered Washington, D.C. this weekend, and the Million MAGA March will commence. And I don't know what they're going to do. Have you guys seen that they shut the streets down ahead of our arrival? They are, let me tell you, they are so scared right now, ladies and gentlemen, you have no idea. They did not want us to be here this weekend. That's why they said, oh, we're going to have a mandatory COVID test. We said, no, thank you. They said, well, we're going to put you into quarantine. We said, no, you're not. They said, well, we're going to shut down the park so that you can't come out here and gather. We said, well, good luck with that. So I have a feeling that tomorrow in D.C., there's going to be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans in the streets waving the old glory, celebrating the re-election of Donald J. Trump. Celebrating the fact that we are taking our country back. So, we are seeing more Americans awake now than ever. 2020 has been quite a year for people. They saw them fake Russian collusion for 4 years. They faked Russian collusion. They faked impeachments. They faked hate crimes. They faked stories, fake news, Brett Kavanaugh, Donald Trump, all of it. They faked the news. They then faked the pandemic. And now they're trying to fake an election. And I think we've decided this is the last straw. Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! I don't want some child molester named Joe Biden in the White House. You want to know what the swamp is? You want to know what the embodiment of the swamp is?
Children!
The FBI has sent investigators to U.S. Postal Service workers who are whistleblowers for Project Veritas, and they grilled them for hours. A veteran. But Hunter Biden is yet to receive a visit from the FBI. The FBI is yet to call Joe and ask Joe who the big guy is. That is the swamp that needs to be drained. Beijing Biden! Beijing Biden! Beijing Biden!
Beijing Biden! Beijing Biden! Beijing Biden!
I wish that we could unite the entire country behind this. It's sad that so many people fall for the fake news propaganda. The libtards. Fox sucks. We like some of the guys on Fox, but they sold us out, didn't they? This is one of the final battles to save the Republic, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, there are going to be people that betray us. There are going to be people that stab us in the back, but that's okay, because we never needed them to begin with. All we need is the strength and the will and the understanding that God is on our side, and we will take this republic back. USA! 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 USA!
USA! USA! USA! USA! USA! USA! USA! USA! USA! We love God!
So actually, every event that we've had on the Stop the Steal Caravan has been bigger than a Biden rally. Isn't that amazing? And they expect us to believe that Biden beat us? But this gentleman over here was pointing out, Biden should have been having his rallies at the cemetery because that's where all of his voters were. Telling you, Trump should have gone off after that dead vote. Millions of dead votes went to Biden. You know what? I got a little funny sign here. What do you guys think about this?
She's trash!
Oh, we love it.
I got that in my car.
I hear Pelosi is not going to be the Speaker of the House anymore. Did you hear that? Yeah. She heard about it too. She was in San Francisco. If you were in San Francisco on Thursday and you were going around looking for a drink, for an alcoholic beverage, you couldn't find one because Pelosi drank it all. She was so depressed that she drank all the alcohol in San Francisco. And it looks like it too, so yeah. Screw Pelosi, all right, just keep that, but
She's already turned.
I think, I have a feeling, if we got fair elections, you have a crush on Pelosi? The dentures are falling out, the skin's falling off her head. Why do all these people, like for example, Joe Biden's been involved in government for 50 years and he keeps telling us how he's going to change things. Who buys that crap? Who buys that crap? I don't think anybody buys that crap. But here's the deal, guys. Who here is going to be in D.C. tomorrow? Who here is ready for the Million MAGA March tomorrow? I wonder, I don't think they're ready for us. They think they're ready for us. They're shutting down all the city streets. But I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, at noon when they try to shut us down and quarantine us. But there's millions of us out here waving American flags.
Do it anyway.
Boy, how is that going to look? How is that going to look? But I know one thing. We're going to hold that line, and we're not going to back down tomorrow.
Don't back down.
No.
And I have a feeling chants of USA are going to be echoing throughout the streets of D.C. tomorrow. So let's give them, as the whole world tunes in, and we have a bunch of independent journalists out here that are going to be sharing this, let's let the whole world get a little taste of what's coming tomorrow. USA! USA! USA!
USA! USA! USA! USA! USA! USA! USA! USA!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Stop the Steal Caravan. Who here was on the caravan with us? Make some noise. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. We love you guys. We've got one more event tomorrow. That's going to be at noon, right here at the White House. We'll see where we have to start this thing since they have everything shut down. But I want to salute everybody that made this possible. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. Thank you guys for shopping at InfoWarsStore.com. Thank you for telling your friends and family. We've been to Austin, we've been to Houston, we've been to Baton Rouge, we've been to Tallahassee, we've been to Atlanta, we've been to Columbia, we've been to Raleigh, we've been to Richmond, and now we're right here in Washington, D.C., ready to take this country back. So once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out here. We love you guys. God bless you guys. God bless Donald Trump, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. InfoWars. InfoWars. InfoWars.
InfoWars! 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 Bill Gates! Fuck Bill Gates! Fuck Bill Gates!
All right, listen up, guys.
Hey, Owen. Where's the start?
Listen up, guys. If you guys want a picture organized here, we obviously have security. There's been some threats made against us, but that's not going to intimidate us. So if anybody wants pictures, we're not going to go anywhere. So just be patient. And we've got a guy right here who'll take it for you, okay? Thank you, guys. God bless you.
Hey, Owen.
Thank you!
God bless Trump! God bless Trump! God bless Trump!
God bless Trump!
I got a
God
gift.
bless Trump!
I got one of these. Cool, man. You want it?
Sure.
All right. Got it right now, train for tomorrow.
I got one little last thing to
Nice size, bro. Nice size.
No God, atheist, lying, cheat, steal. Y'all are frauds. Shame on you frauds. Your whole fraudulent system is crashing down. You all know it. You all know it. You all know it. Because they cheated Bernie, and we don't let it. We don't let him steal like the Bernie supporters. We don't let him steal. We don't let him steal like the Bernie supporters. That's right. We don't let him steal. You all know Bernie got stolen and looted it twice. We're not going to let him lose the election. We don't let him steal like the Bernie supporters. What's up, frauds? What's up, frauds? You need God.
The fraud is the guy that thinks that slavery didn't exist before the Republican Party. You're a fraud.
The Republican Party was built by free black slaves that were the first politicians in our country. What do you have to say about that? That's what we stand for.
The first politicians.
What do you have to say about that? Any truth?
Yes, the first politicians in our country, they were called the Constitutional Party.
Yeah, it's called Republican Party. Black men started it. Black men started the Republican Party. Find your history, you fraud.
Hey, you idiots! They were called the Constitutional Party. That's what they're called. They weren't called.
You're wrong. You're wrong. Started. You're wrong.
The first Republican president was Abraham Lincoln.
Hi, fraud. I remember you from Austin, Texas. Remember you from Austin, Texas, fraud. You'll get bussed in by George Soros, flown in with all your stupid signs, and a bunch of elderly women and men that have no balls. That party, ever, they'll never take it from us.
I think it's just
I'm just wondering, for all Joe Biden supporters, elderly women that are paid by Soros,
Where's our checks?
I'm just wondering.
Where's our checks? Where's our Soros checks? I'm waiting. 44 years of revolution, I'm waiting for my first Soros check.
amazing grace.
Biden's a
Oh,
puppet.
sweet
He's a puppet.
the sound
Biden's a
that
puppet.
saved
Stop watching TV.
I don't watch TV.
No TV, it's just TV.
Hey, it's our country too, bud. We can stand here. This is actually our capital. This is your capital. It's all of our capital. We're allowed to be here.
But now I see my chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me.
Everybody know about it. All of the churches. If Trump ain't no politician, he shouldn't have been a politician. He should have just marched and treated people good. That's it. We don't need a mess of president. We didn't leave Martin Luther King
dance party now. Hey, bring up the dance party. Come in, let's have some fun.
Jesus was the first one to lay his life down. Even if he loved us because we loved him, but he loved us first. He loved us when we were so enemies of the cross. And once was lost, but now are lost. In Jesus' name, we release your glory. We release the glory of Jesus Christ. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. God bless America. God bless America. God bless
We all know it. Let's get over it. The vote will be counted, and Trump will be in the White House. Now let's dance.
So for the time being, I'm going to cut the live stream here. I'm a little worried because the music is really loud, and I'm scared that the Facebook is going to detect that and call it a copyright problem and then destroy the whole thing. So I'm going to cut the live stream here, but I'll still be out here for a while. If it re-escalates in some way, then I will live stream again. Otherwise, I'll have HD footage out this afternoon. And of course, tomorrow I'll have coverage all day of the so-called Million MAGA March that'll be going on here. So we'll see what happens. Either way, stay tuned.
Or are you going to show up to protest? Have some more crack, man. They got Washington, D.C. all boarded up. We're here live in D.C. Some People's Grassroots Campaign Network, Bob Crotty. I've been showing you boarded up buildings. Share this video. Share this video. I'm going to keep this one on for a while. I'm going to build up an audience if I can, but I'm only going to do it if you build this up. You got to share it. And I want you to share because I want you to help people understand how important it is to protest. Protest. We've got to get our protest up. Our free elections were tampered with. We're not going to sit back and allow our freedom and free elections to be overtaken without fighting back, without speaking up, without protesting. Show up to protest in your state capital tomorrow noon. Show up in Washington, D.C. We're downtown Washington, D.C. You'd be surprised at the establishment type people walking down the street looking at us like, what the heck is this? They're hearing us. They're listening to us. You got to come and join us. Fight back for your freedom. Do not accept this result. Do not accept voter fraud as normal in America. You think in 2 years it's going to be any better? Do you think in 4 years it's going to be any better? Voter fraud is going to double down in 4 years. We will never have a free election again. We did not have a free election in 2020. That was not a free election. Too many sworn statements. Too many dead people voting. Too many poll watchers kicked out. That was not a free election. Protest. State capitals. Noon on Saturday. Protest. Washington, D.C. All day long. Washington, D.C. Come down to Washington, D.C. We're live in Washington, D.C. Driving around the establishment, the Democrat and Republican establishments hearing us loud and clear today. But they're going to hear us louder tomorrow if you show up. Live in Washington, D.C. Share this video. Let's get this out there. And the reason why I want to get this out there is people need to see that we're fighting back. You need to protest. You need to show up and protest. Everyone needs to protest. This is the greatest voter fraud in U.S. history. Washington, D.C. is all boarded up. Come and honk. Come to Washington, D.C. Honk. No more of this. No more voter fraud. Count only legal votes. Stop the fraud. Stop the cheat. Live in Washington, D.C. Trump People's Grassroots Campaign News. Come and visit us all weekend long. Share our videos. Share this video. Keep America safe. All boarded up. All these buildings are boarded up. That's the way that the left want to lead us. Everyone has to wear a mask for a virus that only kills 99.7% of the people survive. But we got to all wear masks. Half the people who died were nursing homes, in hospice care on the verge of death, but we all have to live in fear. That's the new world order. And then, of course, voter fraud. Voter fraud, that's the new world order. They're going to control us with voter fraud. If you don't show up and protest, you're not paying attention. Hundreds of affidavits, maybe even thousands of affidavits, sworn testimony of voter fraud. But the mainstream media is acting like it didn't happen. You've got to show up to protest. Share this video. Draw awareness to the protest by sharing this video. All the Trump group, share the Trump group. Share one time if nothing else. Share. We must draw attention to this voter fraud, the greatest voter fraud in U.S. history. All boarded up. Washington, D.C. live, boarded up. Protests have begun. Nationally, protests have begun. Noon at your state capitol. Protest, Washington, D.C. all day tomorrow, Saturday. Time to protest the greatest voter fraud in U.S. history. Washington, D.C. all boarded up. They got it all boarded up. Not because of Trump supporters, because of leftists. That's who wants to control this country. Are you going to let them control our elections by fraud? Or are you going to show up to protest? This isn't about President Trump. This is about our freedom and free elections. We demand free elections, free and fair elections. If you stay at home, it's only going to get worse. We must speak up now. We must share these videos now. We must talk to America now. Why it's right now is when the fight is, right now. Show up to your state capitol tomorrow, noon. Show up at Washington, D.C. anytime tomorrow. Protest all day, Washington, D.C. We're here to get the establishment's attention that we're not happy with the greatest fraud in U.S. history. The greatest voter fraud in U.S. history has just been perpetrated on America. Hundreds, if not thousands, of affidavits, sworn testimony about voter fraud, watchers being kicked out. Watchers are supposed to watch the ballots to make sure they're secure and fair. Why were they kicking them out? Because it was fraud, just like voter harvesting's fraud. If you don't come out and protest, you're letting our country slip away. 2 years from now, it won't be any better. They'll double down again. 4 years from now, they'll double down again. We need reforms. We need voter election reforms. And the only way to get them, if nothing else, is to show up at these protests. We demand free and fair elections. That was not a free and fair election. Too many irregularities. Too many dead people voting in our elections by the thousands. By the tens of thousands, dead people registered to vote and voted. Are you kidding me? Are you going to sit at home? Live in Washington, D.C., Trump People's Grassroots Campaign Network. Come visit our page all week, all weekend. We'll be airing live videos. Share this video. Bring attention to the scam. Bring attention to the scam, the voter scam. America's been scammed. You need to show up to the protest. Let these elitist, establishment, government people know we're not happy. Show up to Washington, D.C. We're not happy about the greatest election fraud in U.S. history. We're not happy at all. And the only way to let them know it is to show up. Honk your horns. Show up to Washington, D.C. Let them know you're mad. Live in Washington, D.C., there's people are marching on Washington, D.C. tomorrow. Come and join us. Every state capital. The greatest election fraud in U.S. history has been perpetrated on America. We're not going to sit back and allow our free elections to be tampered with at this level. Hundreds, more than likely thousands of affidavits have been reported. These are sworn testimonies of people who witnessed voter fraud. Watchers were locked out. That's illegal. Voting machines, computer voter machines that had irregularities all over the country. Software being downloaded during an election. The day before the election. Live in Wayne County, Detroit, Michigan. The computers were online during the election. That's illegal. How many other things? How many watchers? How many hundreds of watchers are going to be kicked out? 6 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet away from the ballots. Outside the door, knocking on the doors, begging to get back in. How many are we going to allow this to happen? Are we going to allow this to happen? I'm going to stay live here as we see what the police officers have to say about what's going on. We got the police showing up live in Washington, D.C. We are protesting. We are here to protest. Protest the greatest election fraud in U.S. history. Police have now stopped Rob, so we'll see what they're going to do here. We are being loud. We are upset. And you should join us. Everyone needs to be down here. There are thousands of Trump supporters already here. No doubt. I meant thousands. I've already seen them by the hundreds here and hundreds there and hundreds everywhere. So collectively around the whole city, there are thousands of Trump supporters already here. It's the day before the big protest. Come and join us. We got police officers that pulled over and stopped Rob here. We're going to see what they've got to say about things. But we're here to protest. We're free men and women. We are free. We expected a free election. Share this video. Let's see what they're going to do here. It looks like they look you over papers. So here we are in the United States of America. You got to have papers now. Papers to be able to run a protest. So you got to clear Rob's papers. They're looking over Rob's material, and they pulled over Rob with the Trump Unity Bridge. And they're giving him a talking to, because we probably need to just go along with the mainstream media's narrative that that this is all over and we're just a bunch of sore losers. Well, we're not sore losers. We've got hundreds, if not thousands, of sworn affidavits. I just wonder, we got the police who pulled us over. I wonder if they were that concerned about BLM when they were doing things, because they were literally burning down a church by the White House, and I think they're giving us more flack than what they did those people. So, we're not tearing down monuments. We're not burning a church. We're driving a float around. So why we need to be stopped and questioned
I'm not so sure because, you know, we're not doing anything wrong. You know, people driving around with their crazy music, you know, F the police and F Trump music, I mean, blaring all the time. We've heard it, you know, but they're not, nobody stops somebody with a loudspeaker system going with their music.
Look at this harassment by the Democrats of D.C. This bridge is hauled all over the country, and they gotta come to D.C. to harass him and do some horse shit.
Well, it's something.
What? What did he do?
Well, I don't know.
He's just checking his paperwork.
Yeah, I know. That's what they do in the communist USSR. They check paperwork.
Yeah, in the communist states of America.
Well, you know, it's interesting because when people protest and burning down the churches, and when people were protesting to burn down, riot, and take out, loot, and like downtown Chicago, they just drove cars into the Magnificent Mile. You know, Rob's getting more of a trying to get to the bottom of what he's all about than they did any of those people. Oh, they put him in. They arrested him and took him out of being arrested all in the same day, if they even arrested any of the people burning down churches in Washington D.C. We're live in Washington D.C. and we're covering this because Rob's being pulled over by the police. They're checking paperwork. They're harassing him. And it's usually, you know, it's interesting. It's usually someone with 3 stripes on their shirt. When Rob was arrested in Detroit last week for leading a protest, it was a sergeant. And I respect policemen. I have family in the police department, and I understand. But I also understand people have been around before, especially a big city like Democrat. Like Washington, D.C. is like 95% Democrat city.
Yeah, they are.
You know, you've got somebody who's a sergeant. He's been on the force a while, and they're not there like a typical, you know, county deputy or something in a big city, or even a state trooper. They're there to be loyalists to the mayor. That's what that means. So I see he's a sergeant, and you know, it's I hate to be mean on police, but we know that some of them do the bidding of the mayor. We saw it in Detroit where they arrested Rob illegally in Detroit. Now we've got another guy here that looks like he's a county, maybe not county, a city guy who has some city official business. So he's there along with the sergeant, checking paperwork out. The question is, can we have free protest or not? Are we allowed to drive freely around the thing or not? So that's the question. Like I said, you know, you got people blaring music, pounding bass music, F the police, and F Donald Trump, and all this stuff, and they don't harass them. And people are burning a church down in Washington, D.C., tearing down monuments. They don't harass them. They just let them go. And here we are. Rob's got to be stopped. He's got to be interrogated. I'm not amused. This is a free country. We don't need to interrogate every single person who's just driving a float around. And that's what they did to Rob when they arrested him falsely in Washington, D.C. They played this heavy hand with him there. And I don't know where this thing's going here, but I'm not amused. We're here to get the people to understand that we're not going to sit back and allow election fraud at the level that just took place go without being unnoticed. Come to Washington, D.C. Join us in our effort to protest. Protest at your state capitol. Protest anywhere you can. Protest. There's lots of people here. There's thousands of people here already. Tomorrow's the big protest. Every state capitol at noon. Every state capitol. There's an official that's stopped Rob. Now we got another police behind me. I don't know if you can see that, but we got police that come up behind me. I don't know what they're doing. But so, anyways, I'm going to drive on. they couldn't find any reason to impound Rob's Trump Unity Bridge, which is afloat today. They did find a reason in Detroit that was a complete lie, and with that lie, they impounded the Trump Unity Bridge in Michigan last week. So we're not being paranoid. They really are doing all types of unusual things to try to silence us, to try to get us to accept this. I've said all along, for no other reason, we have to protest because this was not a fair and free election. We have hundreds, if not thousands, of affidavits, sworn testimony of multiple voter fraud all across this country. We have tens of thousands of dead people voting. We have people registering to vote who are dead. This isn't funny. And if you're quiet and you don't say anything, if you don't show up to these protests in Washington, D.C., if you don't show up to these protests at your state capitol, you're just going along with this. Do you think it's going to get any better in 2 years? Do you think it's going to get any better in 4 years? Do you think the election process is going to be any fairer in 4 years? Really? No, they're going to double down Venezuela style, people. If we don't speak up now for our fair and free elections. So Rob's got the music back going again because that was all bullshit. They were harassing him. It was just a big harassment scam to try to get it to silence us, to intimidate us. That's exactly what just happened. We're live in Washington, D.C. We're asking you to join us, protest tomorrow, all day Saturday, Washington, D.C. Show up. You just saw the police harass Rob, pull him over. You know, in Detroit, Michigan, they arrested him, literally arrested him last week, and impounded the Trump Unity Bridge for no reason, for a complete lie. They drove him across town to Livonia to try to dump him on Livonia Police Department because they had no case against him, and they didn't want him because there was no case against him. Then they let him go because they were intimidating him. They were using intimidation tactics to silence us. And we just saw it in Washington, D.C. They got to get to his papers. They gotta verify who he is and what he's doing. This isn't funny, friends. We're either going to be free men and women or we're not. We're either going to have free and fair elections or we're not. We need to show up to these protests. We need to show up and protest at the state capitals in Washington, D.C. All day Saturday, noon. Protest. It looks like the excitement's done for now. I'm going to go ahead and get off this. Rewind this video. You're going to see that they were intimidating Rob. They were wanting his papers. They were, I don't know where that was heading, but apparently Rob's got his act together, has all of his paperwork right. But paperwork, that's what the Russians did in the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union checked paperwork like that. I'm not amused. They weren't checking paperwork when people were burning a church by the White House a few months ago. They weren't checking paperwork to the people pulling down monuments a few months ago. We're live in Washington, D.C. Come to our page, check out our videos, share these videos all weekend long, show up to the protests. Show up to the protests in Washington, D.C. all day Saturday. Show up to the state capitol all day, noon on state capitals, Lansing, Michigan, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia. Show up in Phoenix, Arizona. Show up and protest. We're protesting the greatest election fraud in U.S. history. Defend freedom and all.
All right, everyone, that is it for right now. There isn't really anything else going on. So make sure that you subscribe, you hit the bell icon. That way you'll be notified when we go live next. We will be going live later today.